Are you pushing hard in the gym, but for some reason you just can't seem to grow muscle? You see very little muscle growth. Even when you have a workout plan, maybe you purchase it from somewhere, or maybe you are doing some random workouts that you see across the internet, you're not seeing muscle growth. Then if you can relate to any of those problems that I described here, then this video is for you, because here I'm going to be sharing with you all the fundamental proven tips and strategies on how to actually make a workout plan which allows you to gain muscle optimally. Hello beautiful, welcome to the channel where we become our highest self physically, mentally, spiritually. My name is Scarlett and I'm on a mission to help transform ambitious, high-achieving women gain muscle and feminine curves so that you can be your most confident to pursue your business and your life goals. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you all those tips and strategies on how to make a killer workout plan that will allow you to see so much gains. And I know some other people may have said in a workout plan you just increase the weights over time or increase the reps over time, but clearly this is not just the only case, because there are so many ways on how to make your workouts harder and harder over time. Have a real strategic and solid plan so that you are continually seeing muscle growth. And yeah, I'm going to be sharing with you all this. And before we get started, just want to make a quick announcement that a few spots for my 90-day transformation program, Curves Confidence System, has opened up. So if you are ready to transform in 90 days and beyond with accountability, support, and guidance, make sure you check it out toward the end of this video. Now, without further ado, let's dive right into those fundamental tips and strategies. Now, the first fundamental pillar when it comes to making a workout plan that is strategic and that is effective as making muscle growth is to go on a plan which gradually progresses volume over time. And that volume can be both either through the repetitions of the exercises that you do, or the sets that you do, or the time under tension, or the time under contraction. And I'll explain more in a little bit about what it is. So the reason why you want to increase volume over time is because some people may tell you to just increase the weights over time. You're going to be getting stronger, but at some point when you've been lifting for a while, then those strength gains may plateau and you might be frustrated on why it's not happening, and therefore you need to be also increasing the volume over time, which is essentially increasing the work capacity. And another question is, how many reps should you be doing? As I said about increasing the reps over time, the reps that you do depend on how hard the exercise you are doing are. So generally you want to break it down into depending on whether the workouts that you're doing are hard, medium, or light. For really hard sets or exercises, which are 85% of your 1 rep max and over, you want to be doing between 1 to 3 reps per set for each exercise. And in total, in a workout, you want to be doing for that certain exercise, you want to be doing in between 5 to 15 sets in total. And the next is for moderate intensity exercises, where you are pushing pretty hard weight but not super hard weight, which are in between 75% of your 1 rep max to 85% of your 1 rep max. And for those weight categories, you want to be doing in between 3 to 8 reps per exercise, and you want to be doing in between 15 to 25 reps. Of course, you can increase or decrease the weight depending on which cycle of the program you are in. You know, the harder, the longer that you go, the more reps that you can increase, but this is a general guideline on what you can follow for a moderate volume plan. And the next is for lighter exercises, and these can be from between 60 to 65% up to 75% of your 1 rep max. And if your exercises are in between in that zone, you could be doing that 8 reps and above. And in a workout, you want to be doing that for a total of 25 reps to between 50 reps. And of course, you can increase those above 50 reps as you progresses, as you become more of an advanced lifter. So I know that these can be like really hard numbers, but it's generally not the case. It depends on how much you have been working out before. If you have been working out for longer, you can be on the higher end of the volume. You need to be doing more volume over time in order to be seeing more muscle growth. And there is one way on how to make sure that you are increasing volume over time. So one way to check it in your workouts is to multiply the reps that you do times the sets that you do times the weights that you do. But of course, it also depends on how hard your exercise is, because if you are comparing between an easier form of exercise such as a leg press where you can do lots of weights but still without exhausting yourself too much, comparing it to a squat, that's not necessarily a fair volume comparison, because for squats you'll be able to do less weights but you're going to be more exhausted. So when you're comparing the volume, make sure that you're comparing week per week for a muscle group or an exercise that is of the similar intensity. And some other ways on how to make your volume harder and harder over time is to increase your time under tension, which I talked about earlier. So time under tension is basically the time when your muscle is contracted. So for example, in a squat, when you want to increase your time under tension, you can do those eccentric squats where you are slowly going down with your weights down. So that way it's going to be a pretty good way of making sure that you are seeing the gains, and that's, we call it eccentric squats. And other ways include pausing at the bottom. You're going to be holding and squeezing your glutes at the bottom of the squat before you come back up, so you can prolong that during a squat. And another way is to do pause squat, where you lift your butt up a little bit but you pause in the middle. Essentially, you're also improving your form and you're also growing your muscle too with this method. Yeah, some other ways on how to increase your time under tension is doing isometrics. Those are basically where you are holding the weights at a lifted position. So for example, in a hip thrust, you're going to be holding that on top. So you can do that in between the sets, in between the reps, or you can do that toward the end of the set. You can hold it till failure, and your muscles are going to be exhausted, but they're going to thank you because you're going to be growing them a lot. And the next strategy on how to make a workout plan harder is to increase your workout density. So that means you are cramping up all those exercises in a shorter period of time. So you'll be taking less resting period than before. And I actually like to do that more toward isolation exercises or accessory exercises, which are easier form of exercises instead of hard exercises like deadlifts or squats or bench press. Because for squats and bench press and deadlifts, you want to be making sure that you are resting enough sufficiently in between of them so that you're able to push it your very best during each set. As for the isolation or accessory workouts, what you want to be doing is you can do so many variations, making your workouts harder. Some ways include supersets, where you combine two exercises with no rest in between. So you do one set and then move on to the other set. The other way is to use the tri-set, 3 exercises in a row with no resting period in between. And other ways include pyramid sets. That's where you build up to the top. So you start from a lighter one and then you move on to, with no rest in between, you move on to a heavier one, and then next you move on back to even another heavier one with no rest in between. Opposite of that is the drop set, where you start from a heavy weight and then with no rest in between you move on to a lighter weight but you do more reps, and then no rest in between you move back down to even a lighter weight, the lightest weight, but you do the most reps, so your muscles are like completely exhausted after the set. And this method can be especially useful when you are doing exercises like with very light weights, such as with blood flow restriction, or when you're doing at-home exercises. And the third pillar that is so fundamental for seeing continuous growth with your workout plan is to make up your exercise harder over time, and that is changing up the exercise variations. So this is very effective, especially if you're doing lightweight exercises like at home. You want to be finding an exercise variation that allows you to push hard too. For example, in squats, you can first try doing normal squats, normal body weight squats or normal barbell squats, and then you can add a band onto it. And later on, you try doing like one leg squats on a box. And later on, when you are so advanced, you can try doing pistol squats. And likewise, you can do the same for movements like hip thrusts. First, you can just try doing normal hip thrusts, and then you can change up your feet position. Like you can change it up to frog pumps position with your feet clamped together. You can also do hip thrusts with your thighs clamped together, feet clamped together. You can also do hip thrusts with one leg elevated. The other ways include like adding bands on top. And similarly for deadlifts, you can make your deadlifts harder, like changing up the stance. For example, if you are so used to doing conventional, you can change up to a sumo stance. You can do block deadlifts. You can add chains at the end of a barbell to make it hard. And you can also do some pass deadlift variations. So this is important, especially if you have been lifting for a while. You want to be adding all this variation to make sure that your muscle growth is progressing and also your strength is progressing. And I know some of you do a few of these strategies only. For example, you may be just used to doing drop sets in your workout. In your workouts, everything you do is drop sets. But I want you to be changing up all those. Not just doing drop set, but sometimes doing supersets, sometimes doing trisets, sometimes doing a harder variation of exercise. You want to be mixing and matching all those strategies that I talked about in here. And you also want to be testing it out to see which one you are responding, your body is responding to the most to. And if you want a catalog of all those strategies that I talk about in these videos, and also a list of the exercise examples on how to make your exercises harder, you can check it out. The link is in the description box below. So yeah, these are the ways on how to make a really deadly effective workout plan. And that is also how I make sure that my ladies in the Curves Confidence System are continually growing and they are not seeing muscle growth plateau. So yeah, if you are interested in transforming your body and your mindset and your soul as you get that hourglass, your dream hourglass body, you can check out my Curves Confidence System. Details of the program are in the description box below. It's a link onto it, and when you click on it, just go to the end of the slide and you can book a call with me to find out more, to see if that is a right program for you. Yeah, I hope you enjoy all these tips. Now go crush your gains, and yeah, I'll see you on my next video.